Hello everyone, once again welcome back to my channel Marine Artian. So my channel is all over merchant navy, marine engineering, nautical science, engine department and deck department. Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing fine. So guys, the topic for today is why priming is needed in centrifugal pump, and we are going to discuss about the significance of priming, the concept of priming, and we will be going on to discuss some practical demonstration. I am going to show you a practical demonstration in which at first I will be rotating the empty bucket and later on I will be rotating the bucket filled with water, and then we will be examining the centrifugal force created by the empty bucket and the centrifugal force created by the filled bucket of water. This is the centrifugal force formula, that is mv square divided by r, and we know density equal to mass by volume. The empty bucket doesn't mean in the sense it is empty, while air will be present in the empty bucket. You can see very clearly that I am using the same bucket for rotating the air in the empty bucket and for rotating the water in the bucket. So obviously the volume remains the same for both the cases, that is rotating air as well as rotating water under centrifugal force. And from the equation it is very clear that density is directly proportional to mass. We know that the density of water is 1000 times the density of air. As we have discussed earlier, density is directly proportional to mass, so obviously the centrifugal force will also be increasing, as centrifugal force is equal to mv square all divided by r. So we can come to a conclusion that the centrifugal force created by the water will be very high as compared to the centrifugal force created by the air in the empty bucket. And this is the basic arrangement of the centrifugal pump, in which our number 1 is the body of the pump and our number 2 is the coupling which couples the electric motor and the pump, and our number 3 is the electric motor, number 4 is the chassis. This is the working arrangement of the centrifugal pump. So guys, let's discuss the parts of the centrifugal pump. So guys, these are the parts of the centrifugal pump. You can pause the video and see it very clearly. So basically the main parts are the volute casing, impeller, eye of the impeller, suction pipe, discharge valve, strainer, foot valve, during a normal operating condition. When the impeller rotates, it creates a centrifugal force. As the centrifugal force is created, the water is being pushed out of the discharge side. So as the water is being pushed out of the discharge side, a vacuum is being created at the eye of the impeller. As vacuum is being created in the eye of the impeller, a lower pressure side is being created. So the higher pressure side, which is the atmospheric air pressure, pushes the water inside the suction side. As water is being pushed inside the suction side towards a lower pressure side, from a region of high pressure side to a region of low pressure side. So water moves towards the eye of the impeller. As it moves towards the eye of the impeller imparts the kinetic energy to the water, and hence the kinetic energy is being converted to pressure energy by the volute casing. And volute casing acts the same principle of the diffuser, and hence the steady flow of water takes place due to the push and pull of the water. The push and the pull are in relation to each other. The amount of push force it generates is the same amount of pull force it is going to generate. Consider a centrifugal pump which is not started. As a centrifugal pump is not started, it will be only having air inside the casing. So once the centrifugal pump is started, so the air inside the centrifugal pump will rotate. As the air is being rotated, it creates a centrifugal force, and thus the centrifugal force created by this condition will be very less, as the mass of air is very less. As we have discussed earlier, density of air is 1000 times less than water, and density is directly proportional to mass. So obviously centrifugal force is equal to mv square all divided by r, that is mass into velocity square all divided by radius. As the mass of air will be very less as compared to water, the centrifugal force, that is the push force generated upon rotation of the air, will be very less. As the push force and pull force are in relationship with each other, then obviously the pull force for pulling the water inside the centrifugal pump casing will be very less. As the pull force is very less compared to the push force, the water in the sump won't be getting inside the eye of the impeller. As we know, the push force is less, so obviously the pull force is also going to be very less. As we have discussed earlier, the push force and pull force are in relationship with each other. So we need to prime the centrifugal pump casing. So priming port is arranged over here, and water is being transferred to the casing of the centrifugal pump. As water is being transferred, and once the pump starts rotating, it creates a tremendous amount of centrifugal force, as the mass of water is very high, and we know the density of water is 1000 times more than air. And obviously when the impeller starts rotating, it creates huge amount of centrifugal force, that is the push force. And as we know, the push force and pull force are in relationship to each other. As the push force, that is centrifugal force, is very high, obviously the pull force is going to be very high. So the water is being pulled inside the casing and it is being pushed out in this fashion. So there will be a steady flow of water once the pump casing is being primed during the startup. I hope you understood the concept of priming. I hope you understood the significance of priming, concept of priming, and you understood my practical demonstration. I hope this video was really useful for you guys. And yeah guys, if you have not subscribed my channel, do subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for future notification. Thank you.